couple of Trump's cabinet nominees are expected back on Capitol Hill today as they look to drum up support for their confirmations. Want to bring in Senator Mike Rounds, Republican of South Dakota. How are these visits going, in your opinion? I mean, Kash Patel, let me pull this one up. He's nominated by President-elect Trump for the FBI. Some headlines here. MSNBC says that he is worse than incompetent. The New York Times says that Patel has plans to remake the FBI into a tool of Trump. A Washington Post column, a dangerous and unqualified choice for the FBI. And the Rolling Stone, not sure why we care about that, but they said Kash Patel has a long history of MAGA money grabs and cringe memes, as if memes are disqualifying. So how do you think his visits are going, and what do you think will happen with this nomination?
Well, we're early in the process, but he has reached out to our office. We're looking forward to visiting with Kash in the next couple of weeks. Normally what these members will do, or these nominees will do, is they'll go committee by committee, and they'll start with the members on the committee that will have their open hearings. We met with Elise Stefanik yesterday, had a great meeting with her. She's strong on taking care of the challenges around China. She and I actually had some legislation together, so I've known her and I've worked with her in the past. Those are the types of meetings that they want to start out with. They'll give these folks the confidence to continue to move their way down the line in the list and answer questions. They'll also prepare themselves for the actual hearings in front of the committees. But look, I'm optimistic. I think Republicans really want to see President Trump get his team in place and very quickly so that he can hit the ground running. The fact that they've started this far in advance is going to give them a real head start on getting some of their legislation in place and really hit the ground running. So yeah, Kash Patel's already reached out. We're looking forward to visiting with him as well. We've also got Doug Collins coming in. We're going to be visiting with Representative Collins for the VA. That's happening this week. Pete Hegseth has already reached out. We're going to be meeting with him this week as well. So they're working their way down through the line of the folks normally on the committees that will be having their open hearings. But the vast majority, I think, of the members here take the same approach, and that is give that president the benefit of the doubt. Let's get his team together. Let's get them in place and start moving forward.
Senator,
we got a lot of work to do in a very short period of time.
At the moment, will they all go through?
Good question. I think they've got a real good shot at it. Naturally, there's always going to be a couple folks that are going to ask difficult questions. As long as these folks have got the right answers, they sit down, they visit in advance, I think they've got a really good. Shot of getting them all through. But once again, the president's got a lot to say about it. He'll listen to advice from the Senate, and then he'll make a decision if he wants to make any changes. But I'm pretty optimistic that Republicans are going to stick together and we'll get the job done.
Let's go overseas right now. Here's a post from last night. Got a lot of attention immediately. Here we go. If the hostages are not released prior to January 20, 2025, the date that I proudly assume office as President of the United States, there will be hell to pay, all hell to pay in the Middle East. End quote there. Sir, your reaction on that?
A refreshing change in the approach on foreign policy. Let's lay this stuff out. Look, it's time to bring these hostages home. And, you're not going to do that by just trying to appease these terrorist groups. So actually having a president that's not going to try to simply get by the way that President Biden has in all these different cases where they provide just enough aid to keep things going, but not enough to allow our allies to actually claim victory. That doesn't work. You've got to be able to come in. You've got to stand strong. You've got to stand with your allies. I think just the fact that President Trump isn't afraid to turn around and to say exactly what he's thinking and let the rest of the world know that there's a sheriff in town again, I think that makes a big difference in terms of the security, not just for our allies, but for our country as well. We got a lot of work to do to get our defensive and offensive capabilities back operational again.
Could we get you to comment on this quickly? U.S. aid to Ukraine was announced yesterday, another $725 million worth of weapons. Zelensky saying that if we want to stop the hot stage of the war, we should take under NATO umbrella the territory of Ukraine that we have under control. But he basically is talking about the possibility of inching towards some sort of a deal. How do you see that?
Well, first of all, that $725 million, we authorized that months ago. And if the Biden administration hadn't been slow walking that aid, they would have had it already. That could have been done already. That would have definitely helped them in their attempts to slow down and to push Russia back. So, that's been the challenge that we've had with this administration all along, is they're doing just enough. I think that's all going to change. The second piece on this is yeah, President Zelensky, who, in my opinion, has been, stalwart in terms of the defense of his country and wanting to maintain the sovereignty of Ukraine. I admire him. What he is saying is look, if we become a part of NATO or we get some kind of an indication from NATO, then Russia's going to back off because they know better than to mess with NATO. I don't know what the new administration is going to say. I think before we jump out ahead of the administration, we're going to let the president get into office and actually make his ideas known. And then we'll start talking about a foreign policy that works to stop Russia. Look, Putin he's bad news for our country. He's not the kind of guy you can necessarily negotiate with. But President Trump has said he definitely wants to stop the bloodshed over there. We agree we want to stop it. Let's give the president the opportunity to put his policies in place and see what happens.
Big stuff, big doings, as you know, big issues for us and the world. Thank you, Senator, for your time.
Thank
Mike
you.
Round, South Dakota. Thank you.
Thank you.